Hey guys, this is Atavia with Why Be Confused. And this is another episode of the break series. Okay, so today's episode is all about I can't afford to take a break. This is something I hear often, and it's something I used to tell myself too. And it, trust me, I had to say these harsh things to myself, and so I'm going to say them to you now. Be prepared. I'm about to get like okay. So, do you have time available for time off? You can't afford to not take a break. You don't have to go anywhere. You could just sit in the park. There are various forms of breaks, and schedule your break and budget around them. So those are the bullet points that we're gonna hit in this video. Um, oh, sorry, reposition. Um, so do you have available time off? Now, many people who work full-time jobs have time off available. Can request time off, whether that's paid or unpaid. You still have some available. So find out if you have any left, right? I know things happen and you have to use your time off for other things, but I really try to use my time off for my breaks, and I use my sick days for other things. Like emergency situations, and I use my sick days for those. I use my breaks. I use my time off for my breaks because those are things I need to like keep re-energizing myself, and that's what that's built in for. So look to see if you have that available, and if you don't, I would recommend speaking with your supervisor and letting them know, like, I'm getting a little overwhelmed with some things, what can we work out where I can take more frequent breaks or time off, or can we adjust my hours, or a lot of supervisors are accommodating with that. You will have a few who may say some snarky things, but they're technically not allowed to. So if you want to have this conversation, it is best to have this conversation via email. That's what I found when you're dealing, you know who you work for. So you're dealing with somebody who's just like, I would do it through email so that it's written, so that they have to like write out what their response is, and you have evidence of it. But most of the people I have encountered have been very accommodating. It's been very much like, okay, especially if I have available time off. And when I don't have available time off, because I have paid time off, when I don't, then they're just like, you won't be paid for this time. And I'm like, yeah, I know. And I know that can be like, I can't afford to have it. But honestly, when I am feeling that way, you're more likely to get sick. You're more likely to have other issues come up. So I rather take the hit of that day at work than whatever unknown thing is going to occur, because my body's going to be like, we done told you we need a moment. You didn't give us a moment. Cough, cough. Like, that's so while you're like, I can't afford, it's going to happen regardless. So whether you consciously take that break and get the most out of it, or your body does it for you and you're miserable the whole time, is up to you. So then that's where it goes into, you can't afford to not take a break, because stress can affect us in a physical way, and it can cause us to be sick. It can cause long-term medical issues and things of that sort. So not taking these breaks, think of it as smoking. Like, that's kind of how I think of it. If you are a smoker, you understand that you are taking the risk of running into various lung issues. And if you're not taking breaks, you know that you are running into the possibility of burnout and causing yourself a lot of other physical issues, like heart attacks come from stress a lot of the time. So be very mindful of that. What I don't pay for now in the, I'm probably going to miss these hours, or I'm probably going to get hit this way, or, that's probably going to cost me a little extra. What you don't take in that, you take in medical bills, you take in lost relationships, you take in lower productivity. So keep that in mind. Not everything shows up in a dollar sign form. um, you don't have to go anywhere. You could just sit in the park, right? So, when a lot of people think of breaks, they think of vacations, and vacations are definitely a type of break. But let's be real, the planning that is involved in vacation sometimes can be more stressful than it's worth. So, vacations are not the only form of break at all. Like I said in the video, defining breaks, a break can be anywhere between 30 minutes to 3 weeks. Like, it's a large range of time. So even if you're like, I can't afford this, you can have that conversation. Can I get off 30 minutes to an hour early today? That stuff normally doesn't affect your budget too much. 30 minutes to an hour early, and then you just go and you sit in the park, or you just sit in your car and listen to music for a little bit, or whatever it is that you need to do for yourself. Do that. Get yourself an ice cream cone. Like, I know nutritionists are like, stop going to food, but I'm not one of them. So food is peaceful for me, and yeah. So I like thinking about like just sitting in the park with an ice cream cone. And just like, and you can do that for 30 minutes to an hour, and it makes such a difference. It makes such a huge difference in the way you feel. So breaks don't have to be these long things. I talk about my quarterly breaks and how my quarterly breaks are a week long, but my sloth days are 1 day a week. And sometimes they're not even full days, depending on what I've got going on. Sometimes they're not full days. Life happens. And then also, like, you can take a little breather. Like today, I've been batch filming, and I got 6 videos in, and I was like cotton mouth, and my energy was like depleting. And so then I just went downstairs and had like a casual conversation with my mom, and just kind of strolled. It was like the trash can lid just ran down the street on its own, and just kind of strolled and went and got it and put it back where it belongs. And that was enough to make me be like, all right, let's get back to these videos. Like, the little things, they have such a huge impact. So you don't have to go big or go home. Take it small and see the impact that it has, and then just add based off of your needs. There are various forms of breaks. I often do dance breaks in between tasks if I need a breather. So I didn't do a dance break in between these videos because I would have sweat and it would be a whole thing. I have to reach my makeup in. But if you had like a camera on me all day, you would see me break out and dance randomly, because that is one of my ways of dealing with stress. Physical activity is great for stress. I don't talk about it a lot because I'm not one of those channels, but it is great for stress. And I know we all know this, and I know we're all tired of hearing it, but it is really amazing. But like, you can sit and read a book for 10-15 minutes. Do you know how far you get into a book within 10-15 minutes? You've gone off on a whole nother adventure within that time, and you're like relaxed by it. You could watch some TikToks that don't stress you out, right? You can do all sorts of stuff with a small period of time. So think of the various kinds of breaks that you have, right? Take a power nap. I'm not really good at power naps. Like, if I don't get at least 4 hours, the world's going to end. But some people are. So if you are, do that. Think of different ways of taking your break. Your break doesn't have to be the same thing every time. Do what you need in that moment. Sometimes it's listening to a podcast. I'm a Kev on Stage fan, so I listen to Here's the Thing, and they crack me up. And that podcast is about an hour and some change long, somewhere around there. And I'm like, this is great. And my brain is on a completely different topic than what it was before, and I feel relaxed and energized and paying attention to whatever shenanigans they're talking about. So think about those kind of things. Your breaks can be very different. And then the last one is schedule your breaks so you can budget, especially for the bigger ones. So I know my quarterly breaks come up every quarter, and I put them in ahead of time. So like in January, I put in all of them for the year. And my boss probably hates me for it, but it's like, here, that's all the time I'm gonna be gone. Well, most of it, some other things may pop up, but these are the main ones when I'm gonna be gone. And then talk to my husband about, hey, I'm not gonna be working this week. What do you want to do? Oh, I want to go here. Okay, let's do that. And da 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 da. And you break it up like that. My husband's not here right now, but that's what we used to do. And now that I'm just kind of by myself, I either plan like a staycation with a friend, or I'm kind of just say I'm going to dedicate that week to Netflix. Catch up on some of my shows or do whatever. So whatever you want to do, and in one of the other videos about how often you should take a break, I talked about you kind of gauge what you need to do for that quarterly break. But as you get closer to it, budget for it. If in May I want to take a trip, start budgeting for it. Or I want to have 3 staycations and 1 vacation this year. But make sure you're putting money to the side for your vacation, so that way you can afford it, right? And pro tip, something I have done, I have used things like Afterpay and Affirm and stuff like that for my vacations. If I want to go somewhere and I don't necessarily have the cash right now to do it, I do stuff like that. Again, I'm not a financial expert, right? But that is one thing I have done. I have been able to like purchase an Airbnb and like all of the other stuff that I needed for that little trip, and do that on Affirm, and then like pay it off. You can, depending on like what status you have with them, you could pay it off within like 4 payments, and they're like bi-weekly payments. Or if you've been with them longer, they allow you to do monthly payments. So that is something. So with 2020 hit, I had a pay cut, and I have had to adjust to that. And so I have been using Affirm and things of that sort for my breaks, and been able to pay them off without a problem. So that is also something you can look into. You don't have to do everything straight out in cash. There are various options. I don't recommend necessarily credit cards, but you can make those decisions for yourself. All right, guys. So next week's episode is going to be about breaks with others. I talked about in the vacation versus staycation video about how I did a staycation with other people. We're going to talk about how to take breaks with other people, because I think that's definitely something we should discuss. That is very different than when you're doing a break by yourself. If you like this video, don't forget to like it and comment down below your thoughts or questions that you have about being able to afford a break. And if you love the content, subscribe to the channel, please. I'm really trying to get to 100 subscribers. So please. And if you really can't wait till next week's content comes out, hit the notification bell so you can be notified when it happens. I will see you guys next time.